Good day, everyone. I'm Miss Lagos, and my partner, Miss Lysandra, will be discussing on this new topic. Since we are done with Module 19, we will now proceed on Module 20, which is Theories on Factors Affecting Motivation. So, introduction. There is currently no unified theory to explain the origins or elements of intrinsic motivation. Most explanations combined elements of Bernard Rainer's attribution theory, Bandura's work on self-efficacy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, William Glasser's choice theory, and other studies related to goal orientation. So here is an advanced organizer about the topics we will be discussing on this module. So let's start with attribution theory. So this theory was developed by Bernard Rainer himself. According to this theory, we can put a variety of causes behind behind our success, failures, and other occurrences. So this theory explains that we attribute our success or failures or other events to several factors. It assumes that people try to determine why people do what they do, that is, interpret causes to an event or behavior. So his theory is mainly about achievement. So attribution is a three-stage process. First, behavior is observed. Second, behavior is determined. And third, behavior is attributed to internal and external causes. So next, achievement can be attributed to effort, ability, level of difficulty, and luck. So there are three causal dimensions of behavior under this theory, namely locus, that have internal versus external, the stability, that have stable versus unstable, and controllability, that have controllable versus uncontrollable. So let's start discussing first the locus or place, that have internal versus external. So if your student traces his good grade to his ability and to his hard work, he attributes his good grades to internal factors. So this means if we place the locus of control internally, we are likely to believe our own actions determine the outcome. Then, if your student, however, claims that his good grade is due to effective teaching of his teacher or to the adequate library facilities, he attributes his good grades to factor external to himself. This means if we place the locus of control externally, we are likely to blame the outcome on fate, luck, or happenstance. So the second causal dimension of behavior is the stability, the stable versus unstable. So when people make a stable attribution, they infer that an event or behavior is due to stable or unchanging factors. This means if you attribute your poor performance to what you have inherited from your parents, then you are attributing the cause of your performance to something stable, something that cannot change because it is in your genes. However, when making an unstable attribution, they infer that an event or behavior is due to unstable or temporary factors. This means if you attribute it to excessive watching of TV, then you are claiming that poor eyesight is caused by an unstable factor or something that can change. Now, the third causal dimension of behavior is controllability, the controllable versus uncontrollable. So if your student claims that his poor performance is due to his teacher's ineffective teaching strategy, he attributes his poor performance to a factor beyond his control. This means if a behavior is uncontrollable, the individual has a limited or no capability to influence the outcome of the task or behavior. However, if the student admits that his poor class performance is due to his poor study habits and low motivation, then he attributes the event to factors which are very much within his control. This means if a behavior is controllable, then the individual has the capability to influence the outcome of a task or behavior. So here in table 1 are the relationships among the dimensions of attributions. We can see under the first column are the achievements that can attributed to effort, ability, luck, and task difficulty. So in effort, the locus place is inside the learner, though stable, but it is out of the learner's control. Next is ability. The locus or place is inside the learner, but unstable, though it is in control of the learner. Next is luck. It is outside the learner, but unstable and out of the learner's control. And lastly, the task difficulty. The locus place is outside the learner, though stable, but still it is out of the learner's control. Now, how does attribution affect motivation? Well, there are three things to ponder on how does attribution affect motivation. First, your student is more likely to be motivated if they attribute their success or failure to something they can control, something that is unstable or something that can be changed. Second, when students blame themselves for failing, motivation tends to rise since effort is something that can be managed. And third, since this is a fascinating topic, people frequently blame internal factors for their success and external factors for their failures.
Self-efficacy theory. It is a sense of high self-efficacy means a high sense of competence. Self-efficacy is the belief that one has the necessary capabilities to perform a task, fulfill real expectations, or meet a challenging situation successfully. So when your students believe that they have the ability to perform learning activities successfully, they are more likely to be intrinsically motivated to do such learning activities. The secret, therefore, enhancing intrinsic motivation is enhancing our students' sense of self-efficacy. It believes that self-efficacy also involves determination and perseverance, seeing as it how it helps one overcome obstacles that would interfere with utilizing those innate abilities to achieve goals. Social cognitive theorists identified several self-efficacy enhancing strategies. First, make sure students master the basic skills. So herein, mastery of the basic skills like reading, writing, arithmetic will enable the child to tackle higher level activities. Imagine how miserable it is for a student who has not mastered the basic skill and able to perform higher level learning tasks that require display and use of basic skills. Your students will feel that he or she is a failure to the school life. Second, help them make noticeable progress on difficult tasks. You like to give up climbing a mountain when you feel that you are not making progress at all. When you have spent hours and hours on a difficult task and you seem not to be progressing, you are made to think that your efforts are leading you nowhere and you want to give up. That's why it is good that you are helped to see progress while you are working on your difficult task. The knowledge that you are progressing inspires you to keep on. Third, communicate confidence in students' abilities through words and actions. Express confidence that your students, with all their abilities, can easily tackle the learning task. Words like, if you were able to do a more difficult task yesterday, what are you what you are asked to do today much easier than that of yesterday. Needless to say that your body language and your words expressing your belief in your abilities must match. Fourth, expose them to successful peers. So being with a successful peers, your students will inhale a success and get energized to succeed as well. As Ormrod stated that success is infectious in the same way that failure is also contagious. So here are other recommendations from motivation theorists. First, provide competence, promoting feedback. So here, communicate to your students that they can do the job. They have the ability to succeed. Second, promote mastery in challenging tasks. Don't give your students extremely difficult nor extremely easy tasks. Third, promote self-comparison rather than comparison with others. Desiderata says, if you compare yourself with others, you will become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. And lastly, fourth, be sure errors occur within. According to Ormeron 2004, there will always be errors or mistakes as we learn. As we go through life, as we go through in life, but they cease to be mistakes once we learn from them. But if it all errors that come one after another without a taste of success, chances are your students will feel so down that they are robbed of to the courage to proceed. The learning process requires the challenge of new and different experiences, the trying of the unknown, and therefore necessarily must involve the making of mistakes. In order for people to learn, they need the opportunity to explore new situations and ideas without being penalized or punished for mistakes which are integral to the activity of learning, which is by Ortigas 1990. So process of learning helps at achieving the objectives of teaching. With learning, we expect a change in the behavior of the individuals. This change happens with the development of the knowledge, insight, interest, skills, and attitudes. So table 2, the influence of self-efficacy on motivation. So we have here high self-efficacy learners and low self-efficacy learners. And in the other side, the task orientation, accept challenging tasks and avoid challenging tasks in low self-efficacy learners. So in effort, in high self-efficacy learners, expend high effort when faced with challenging tasks, while in low self-efficacy learners, expend low effort when faced with challenging tasks. In persistence, in high self-efficacy learners, persist when goals aren't initially reached, while in the other side, give up when goals aren't initially reached. In beliefs, high self-efficacy learners believe when they succeed and controlled anxiety and stress when goals aren't met, believe they are in control of their environment. On the other hand, in the low self-efficacy learners, it focuses on feelings of incompetent, experience anxiety and depression when goals aren't met. They believe they aren't in control of their environment. In strategy use, in high self-efficacy learners, discard unproductive strategies, and in low self-efficacy learners, persist with unproductive strategies. Lastly, in performance, in high self-efficacy learners, perform higher than low self-efficacy students of equal ability, while in low self-efficacy learners, perform lower than higher self-efficacy students of equal ability.
Self-determination and self-regulation theory. So, students who feel a sense of self-determination, the conviction that they have some control over the decisions they make and the paths their lives take, are intrinsically motivated. The ability to self-regulate reveals students' sense of self-determination. Self-regulation is the capacity of a person to control himself. He embodies the phrase, I am the captain of my soul. He does not fall victim to events and he is able to manage himself. In short, self-determination theory suggests that autonomous motivation is an effective means to self regulation because it is initiated and guided by choices that cohere with one's needs, values, and self selected aspirations. So, what are the indicators of self regulations? The, they are abilities to set goals for yourself, check one's own behavior or against these standards and assess it, and enforce punishment on oneself for failures or success. Now, how does self regulation relate to motivation? Well, a student who has the capacity of for self regulation is not only able to control his behavior but also his own learning. This means student, students who are motivated to reach a certain goal will engage in self regulatory activities they feel will help them achieve that goal. This self regulation promotes learning, which leads to a perception of greater competence, which sustains motivation toward the goal and to future goals. Now, there are six processes involved in self regulated learning according to what Omrad 2004 cited. First is goal setting, means learning that is self regulated has a clear goal in mind before starting to read or study. This means self regulated students know what they want to accomplish when they read or study. Second, planning. Self regulated learners plan their learning schedule in advance to make the most of their available time. This means self regulated students determine ahead of time how best to use the time they have available for learning. The third is attention control. Learners who practice self regulation make an effort to concentrate on the material at hand and purge their minds of off topic ideas and feelings. This means self regulated students try to focus their attention on the subject matter at hand and clear their minds at distracting thoughts and emotions. The fourth process is application of learning strategies. Depending on the specific objective they want to achieve, self regulated learners select various learning strategies. This means they choose different learning strategies depending on the specific goal they want to accomplish. The fifth process is self monitoring. Self regulated learners constantly assess how they are doing in relation to their objectives, and they adjust their learning strategies or goals as necessary. This means they continually monitor their progress towards their goals and they change their learning strategies or modify their goals if it is necessary. And lastly is self evaluation. Self regulated learners assess whether their knowledge is sufficient for the objectives they have set. This means they are determined whether what they have learned is sufficient for the goals that they have set. Well, here are some recommendations from motivation theories to improve students' sense of autonomy over their participation in and completion of schoolwork. First, present guidelines and directives in an informative manner as opposed to a directive one. Second, ensure that students have the chance to choose. There are numerous strategies that can be used to accomplish a specific lesson objective. And lastly, analyze student performance without micromanaging them.
Choice theory is a biological theory that suggests that we are born with specific needs that we are genetically instructed to satisfy. All of our behavior represent our best attempt at any moment to satisfy our basic needs or genetic instructions by Bob Solio 2007. So applying choice theory allows one to take responsibility for one's own life. At the same time, wither from attempting to direct address people's decisions in lives. Individuals are empowered to take responsibility for their choices and support others in taking ownership of their choices. So there are four basic psychological needs. First, the belonging or connecting. The need for belonging or connecting motivates us to develop relationships and cooperate with others. Without the need for belonging and cooperating, we would only strive to be independent. Second, power or competence. The need for power is more than just a drive to dominate. Power is gained through competence, achievement, and mastery. Our genetic instruction is to achieve, master new skills, and to be recognized for our accomplishments. Third, freedom. So, as humans, we are also motivated to be free, to choose. Having choices is part of what it means to be human and is one reason our species has been able to evolve, adapt, and thrive. And lastly, fun. Each time we learn something new, we are having fun. Another universal human motivator. It is our playfulness and our sense of discovery that allow us to learn as much as we do. So what do this imply to our task to facilitate learning? To motivate our students for learning, we should satisfy their need to belong, their need to have power by being competent, and the need to have a free choice, and the need to enjoy learning and have fun. How can this be done? If we create a sense of community in the classroom and make every student feel he or she belongs to that classroom community, he or she will more likely to love to go to school. If we make use of cooperative learning structures, we strengthen the spirit of cooperation and collaboration and reduce if not eliminate the spirit of cutthroat competition. Remember that to satisfy our students' need for power, let us help them acquire it by making them master their lessons and end up very competent. Let us teach our students that the source of authentic power is competence, not bullying and other irresponsible behaviors. And to motivate our students for learning, let us give them ample freedom to choose within parameters that are safe and responsible, developmentally appropriate, and supportive of learning, for that is the ultimate purpose of freedom, as well as to develop in the students a sense of ownership of their learning. According to Glaser 1990, fun is the genetic payoff for learning. A joyless classroom does not motivate students to perform. Let's have fun more while we teach. Without our knowing, our students are learning and mastering what we are teaching while we are having fun. So, fun is a universal human motivation. If our students' need for fun is satisfied, they are most likely to learn much.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, prior to attempting to satisfy his or her higher order needs, a student must first work to satisfy their lower order needs. So, the levels of lower needs are food, air, water, and sleep, and bodily safety and economic safety, while the levels of higher needs are the belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, and self actualization. Now, according to Maslow's theory, an unmet need is more powerfully motivating than a need that has been met. So, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology comprising a five-tier model of human needs, often depicted as hierarchical levels within a pyramid, as you can see in the illustration. So, Abraham Harold Maslow was a psychologist who studied positive human qualities and the lives of exemplary people. In 1954, Maslow created the hierarchy of human needs and expressed his theories in his book on motivation and personality. So, from the bottom of the hierarchy upwards, the needs are psychological. which consists of food, clothing, water, sleep, homeostasis, or excretion. Next is safety, which consists the security of body, employment, resources, morality, family, health, or property. Then goes to love or belonging needs, which consist of friendship, family, sexual intimacy. Then esteem, which consists of self esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and respect by others. And the highest need is self actualization, which consists of morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, and acceptance of facts. Now, a person's motivation to reach his or her full potential is what we call self actualization. As shown in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a person's basic needs must be met before self actualization can be achieved.
So let's proceed to goal theory, learning goals versus performance goals, and how they differ. So, a learning goal is a desire to acquire additional knowledge or master new skills, while a performance goal is a desire to look good and receive favorable judgment from others, or else look bad and receive unfavorable judgment by Ormrod 2004. So, goal theory is an overall approach to motivation that emphasizes the needs to establish goals as intrinsic motivation. The students with a learning goal is mastery focus, while the student with performance goal is performance focus. Table 3 shows a comparison of learning mastery focus and performance focus classroom. So we have mastery focus and performance focus, and in the left side, success defined as in mastery focus, mastery and improvement. In performance focus, high grades, doing better than other. In valued placed on effort and improvement. In performance focus, high grades, demonstration of high ability. In reasons for satisfaction, in mastery focus, meeting challenge and hard work. In performance focus, doing better than others, success with minimum effort. Teacher oriented towards in mastery focus, student learning. In performance focus, student performance. View of errors, a normal part of learning, and a basis of concern and anxiety. Reasons of effort in mastery focus, increased understanding, while in performance focus, high grades, doing better than others. Ability viewed as in mastery focus, incremental and alterable, while in performance focus, an entity and fixed. In reasons for assessment, mastery focus, measure progress toward present criteria, provide feedback. In performance focus, determine grades, compare students to one another. Self-determined goals. Personally relevant and self-determined goals enhance students' motivation. So in here, if the lesson objectives are related to a real life situation, students turn out to be more motivated to learn. So they have interest to actively engage in class on their own determination. So as a teacher, it's not difficult to us to convey them to be active as they can find the lesson objectives related to their own life.
Goal setting. As a motivational tool, goal setting is effective when the following major elements are present. First, goal acceptance. Second, specificity. Third, challenge. Fourth, performance monitoring. And fifth, performance feedback. Thus, it is necessary that our students accept and own our lesson objectives and that our lesson objectives must be challenging and SMART. The acronym SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-bound. It is equally important that we monitor our students' learning. However, simply monitoring results are not enough. We have to give our students feedback on their performance. So ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our discussion. Thank you for your attention, and me and my partner, Mrs. Sandra, hope that you have learned something from our report. So once again, thank you and have a good day.